You know how it feels? I can't imagine getting it through the internet, through people who know they could be anonymous. They can be from a completely different part of the world, telling you the nastiest shit they can think of just because they hate themselves.
Yeah.
And then you read that, and then you really take that seriously about yourself.
People commit suicide.
Exactly. People take their lives because of this shit. And it's something that's not gonna go away. It's something that's just gonna keep happening. It's probably gonna get worse with the more the internet grows, the more this problem's gonna grow. And the best thing I can tell you is hang in there. High school's gonna end.
And not only that, find people who are gonna be like Cass and like me that are gonna support you and
that we've been there.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you know, a lot of people end up bullying people that are going through things. They're
exactly like they want to escape from their life and their problems and their insecurities, that they focus on someone else to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
And it sucks that people do that, and it sucks that that's their only outlet they can think of, because they don't think of the person on the other side of that screen.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of people have taken their lives because of this, obviously in combination with mental illness or maybe other circumstances.
Other circumstances.
But a lot of the time, it starts from there.
It's just that one. You know what it is?
It takes one comment,
and that's the scariest and the saddest part, is that somebody can be on edge, right there on the cliff, ready to jump and ready to take their life, and all it takes is that one person to message you and say, you know what, you're not worthy of anything, or it takes that one person to say, you know what, you're beautiful, you're amazing, take a step back, don't take that step forward. And that's what it is that these people, it's either you're pushing that person or you're pulling them back, and you're pulling them towards a more better life and positivity and love. You make that choice, you know, and at the end of the day, I'm pulling motherfuckers toward me.
Exactly. And I want to make this clear. We're not just talking about people who relate to us in like the whole overweight thing.
Yeah.
This is for everyone who feels outcasted, who
if
feels
you're getting
not
bullied
enough.
Because of your clothes, because of your
sexuality,
hair color,
your religion, your background, anything. It's not worth it. And I know it's hard to say, well, don't mind those comments, because obviously they mind you.
Yeah. But
it's just like, there's people out here in the world like me and Erica who
survived.
We survived, and like you said, we're pulling you to our side.
Yes.
There's so much and beautiful things in the world that we tend to not think about. We forget about, because we're so tunnel visioned onto the negative stuff. And it's like, once you start seeing the beautiful things, it's like, you can't believe you let those people bring you down to that point.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I've been on that cliff. How you were just telling me, I've been on the edge of that cliff, and I've had people like you who pulled me back.
I love you. Yeah.
And talking from experience, it gets better, but you have to want it to get better for it to get better.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we don't mean to get emotional, but this is what the show's about. We're real. This is our real feelings, our real, stories. So it's gonna happen. We're girls. We're gonna cry every now and then. We're gonna shed some tears, and we're gonna move past it.
Yep.
But that's all we're trying to pull across here. Bullying is a huge issue, and unfortunately, I think it's an issue that's getting worse, and it's not gonna go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do is
work together,
and people like us, and like, go on our Instagram page, Lady Instincts Pod, comment us, DM us, talk to us, reach out, because we're here. There's a lot of people who are on the other side of that, and we just want to help others get to it, And on that note, speaking of bullying, a huge issue, but now we want to talk about more about like our
something
growing
that shaped
up.
Us into
exactly
who we are, and our moralities and how we see life. And I'm gonna go first, and just to warn you guys, it is something very serious. And
but the thing is, I'm so glad, Erica, that you're gonna share this with our listeners, because there has to be at least one person out there who's gonna relate to you, and you're gonna help them.
Yeah, I'm like, my heart's racing. I'm like, I want to cry already. But okay, so growing up, like my brother and my sister were very close, and I was bullied. So the only person that I had a friend in was my mother, and at the age of, well, I think for a lot of my life, sadly and unfortunately, she was addicted to prescription medication.
Yeah.
And at age 13, she passed away.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was age 13. She was 35.
Yeah.
And she overdosed. And I remember that day, like, literally, I can close my eyes and I can remember it like yesterday.
Yeah.
And thank you.
I'm here, girl.
And it is, I saw her. I saw her, and she passed away in my mom and my dad's room. And I can remember when we were cooking. I remember I came home from swimming, and my mom wanted me to clean up the room, and I cleaned up her room and stuff, and she wanted my brother to cook food for her, and I mean, my mother was our queen. We straight up, she did her things or whatever, but we spoiled the shit out of her, and so, like I said, my whole life, she was pretty much addicted to medication, and she would get in, like, car accidents and stuff while she was driving with me, because she would be so high on her medicine, and so she would fall asleep, and, like, she would just, like, pass out while she was sitting there. You know how, like, when you're so tired, sometimes you nod off, and you're just sitting there, and your head's, like, drooped down.
Yeah.
Growing up, I would see her like that all the time, and it would be normal.
Right.
And, so, I guess she fell. The day that she passed away, she fell, and, I don't know what happened, all of a sudden, like, we were cooking fried chicken, and, like, my dad came, and he told my brother, come on, let's go wake up your mom, and then, like, I'm watching the chicken, and then, like, my dad, like, I, like, hear them, like, talking and saying she's not waking up, and, like, so she wouldn't wake up, and we called the ambulance, and, they pretty much pronounced her dead at the scene, and I couldn't believe it. I literally, like, I was 13 years old. I just saw my mom not wake up in front of me, and I'm freaking the fuck out.
Of course.
Like, we lived in a trailer park, so everybody was outside asking questions, being nosy, and I just lost my mother.
Yeah.
And they were like,
it
wasn't concern, it was them being nosy.
Chismosos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since then, like, I feel like, that shit shaped me into who I am, and why I feel like I'm so accepting to people, because, like, after my mom passed away, I didn't give a shit in school. I didn't care about my appearance. I didn't care about who I was as a person. And I had to go down that route in order to find who I truly am.
Yeah.
And it was those moments when I didn't give a shit about myself is when I met the people that truly cared about me. Like Cass and...
Yeah. That's true. We met not long after that.
My mother passed away in the summer of 7th grade. We met in 8th grade. And that's what's crazy is that you don't know what people are going through. I literally lost my best friend at age 13, and I was going to school and people were making fun of me. Yeah. And I was literally so lost in my world and so sad and broken. And then I would go to school and people would just break me more.
Yeah.
So I share this story because that was just at age 13. Mm-hmm. People are losing family members and parents at all ages. Mm-hmm. And people are... You don't know what someone is going through.
You don't.
This still affects me to this day.
Of course.
But I feel like I'm strong enough to talk about it.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to tell you. Like, you have no idea how strong you are. Like, I could never know what that's like. And I thank God for that. And I don't know how you were able to sit there and relive that day right now, talking about it, walking us through it. Because that takes an immense amount of strength. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to ask you, like, what advice would you give to someone who's been there or who recently just going through that to, like, get through it?
That's hard. Because I'm 25 now, turning 26. And it's, I'm still, to this day, it's been over 10 years that my mother has passed away. And I'm still learning to adjust to it. It's not necessarily adjusting to it.
Living with it.
Mm-hmm. I've accepted it a few years ago. It took me a long time to accept it. I think my best advice to anybody who is going through the same experiences that I've had, mm-hmm. that I've been through, is, it's corny to say it, but literally take it day by day.
I don't think it's corny. I think it makes sense.
I feel like after my mother passed away, it was before it was a whole different life, and after this is my life now, and it's so hard to even express mm-hmm. how to deal with it, because it's just something you deal with, and it's not,
you have to.
Exactly. It's I mean, how you said, like, to experience that, and then to talk about it, and then to, like,
relive it.
Like, you can't, I can't express truly how I'm here because of the people that I've met, and I'm very grateful, and I thank God that I'm blessed with the family that I have, and the friends that I have, and my boyfriend that I have. It's truly the people, mm-hmm. like you, me. It took, like, I had to fix a lot of problems, and I had to fix a lot of things that I wasn't happy with in my life, and mm-hmm. the way that I was. I told you I didn't give a shit. I didn't.
Yeah,
care.
And I was just gonna tell you that, like, when we first met and when we first started becoming friends, that's one thing I almost, like, admired about you, because you really gave no fucks. And at this time, it's when I was the most self-conscious, the time where I cared the most about what people thought about me, and you were the complete opposite. And I always was like, how do you do that? Like, you would come to school with fucking bleached hair. Yeah. The next day you'd come with hot pink hair. You would shave your head.
I would not give a fuck.
You would not give a fuck. And you looked like, literally looked so happy, even though you had that going on inside. Yeah. And it wasn't until you told me your story, when we got closer, that I wouldn't say understand, because I can never understand, but it made more sense.
It's more of a, like, okay, I see why she didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, because it's like, you went through something that big in your life, where it's like, everything else is like, well, fuck you, you know?
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that it's crazy, because it's like, when you do lose somebody that's so important in your life like that, at any age, really, mm-hmm. it affects you so much that, how you said, it's like, to the outside world, it's like, oh wow, it's this rebellious teen girl that doesn't give a fuck about anything. Right. But it's just. It
was you trying to cope with what happened, and
trying to. It was all facade. It was just all something that, I mean, like, I thought I would be happy if I dyed my hair. Oh, it was pink. I wasn't happy. I'm gonna do it green. Maybe that'll make me happy.
You literally had every color of the fucking rainbow, like, twice.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is I was trying to find my own happiness, and I was trying to do it in a rebellious way, or in my outfits, or in my clothes, and really though, I had to fuck up my life in a lot of ways in order